Get my titties out, yeah, get my titties out, yeah, get my titties out for all of the boys. Hello, beautiful people, how are we doing? Right, this is going to be a bit of a thing that I've been struggling with for a while. So, ages ago, I installed these shorty ASVC3s on the 23 MT10, and as you can see, I'm having a few issues with basically the build quality, which is a bit surprising. Now, they're usable, they're great, blah 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 blah, but unfortunately they're starting to corrode quite a bit, and this bike has been fully ACF coated, fully protected, fully everything, and unfortunately some parts just are more susceptible to wear and tear than others, and your brake levers are no exception to that. So not just that either, but I kind of miss having longer levers because the shorty levers, I only ever brake with 2 fingers. I only ever use my clutch with 2 fingers, and it makes sense to me to have a short lever on, just because I don't, at the end, it's a bit pointless. However, one thing I have noticed since putting these on is the brake power just seems a little bit off, and they seem really spongy, and I don't know why. And so this leads me to the bit of a problem. So I bought these Gilles levers, this is official Yamaha products. Gilles have paired with Yamaha, and one of the things I really don't like about levers these days is how square they are on the shoulder. I'm not sure if you can see this, and this is a personal preference thing, so don't take this as gospel, but when I come around and I've got my gloves on, and I find it very difficult to feel. It might sound really stupid, but because they're so thick and the shoulder is so square, such an acute angle, my fingers don't really fold over the lever very well, and I don't know what it is, it just doesn't feel great. I ended up throwing my original lever away, my OEM lever, which was a really stupid idea. If you do get one of these bikes, do not throw the original lever away, or the original push rod plunger for the master cylinder, because you will experience a lot of fucking issues. This particular piece fits with the OEM push plunger, which is, you might recognise this part. The original part will look something like this, and you'll have to pull the rubber grommet off from the master cylinder, and you'll pull that off. If you look at my original video of installing these, you can see what it is and how it works. Now, I threw that away thinking I'd never need it again because I'm an idiot. It turns out you can't just buy that part, you have to buy an entire master cylinder, and they're £300-400. And obviously I can't afford that. We can get one used, but that's 140 quid. So after a lot of research and a lot of digging, what I've been able to do is a company called JB Biker Bits on eBay. He was selling these for the Ducati and Aprilias, and it was the first thing that I saw, and I did my research and then realised that this is actually definitely what I need. Now, he sent me this across. I have paid for this and all thingy. I have paid. I've not got this for free. Now, this is titanium, handmade, and it is beautiful. I'm just going to say that right there. It is gorgeous. However, we're not sure if this is going to fit this bike. He has tried it on his MT10 and it does fit, but we're just going to try it on this now, and we're going to see what happens. Now, again, the reason why I've gone to this lever is because look at the shelf on that, and look at the shoulder on that. It is so thin, and with thinness becomes feel. That might sound a bit stupid, but I see it as damping. So if this is really thick, this is really thick, these are really thick, it's taken away from the feel of the brakes for me. Whereas with this, yes, it's thinner. Could that affect the durability of it? It could do. I can't see this snapping off here. It's got the same click adjustment as the ASVs, which I think is really nice. But like I said, after less than a year of use, it's probably been about 8 months since I put these on, maybe, I'm not too sure now, but they're just sort of falling apart a little bit, and I'm kind of disappointed at them. I have ACF coated everything, like I've said, and even the clutch is starting to go. I think we're going to leave the clutch, but I'm just going to see how this works for now, because I really like the look of it. It's the thinnest one I've been able to find, and that added torque and added the rigidity of this, I think that's going to give me a little bit more feedback on the road, and we can, compare and contrast and all that kind of stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and we'll take, in fact, what we're going to do first is we're going to take this apart. So I think what we do here, if I'm not mistaken, is we pull this out. There we go, so we pull this bushing out, and there's a spring on the back of it here. And we pull that apart, like so, and then drop the spring into infinity. Where the fuck's that gone to now? Blood and sand. I do this at least once a video, so this is nothing new. Can I see a shine? Oh, there it is. Hopefully I've not stood on it. Oh, Christ. It's quite a nice spring, that, actually. Ow, my eyes. Fuck. This should fit in here like this. And we're just going to unscrew that until it fits, and then push, but what I want to do first is just actually make sure it's going to fit. And so, as you can see, that then goes in place here. And I can undo that slightly so it just moves that little bit, and it is captured in there as well. Right, what are we? I reckon we're at a 4mm. Yes, we're at a 4mm. So to get this off, it's very easy. There's a captive nut underneath. So there's a nut underneath it. You can just unscrew it and then unscrew the nut off the bottom. Is a lock washer. A lock nut, sorry. Take the pin out, which is threaded to a certain point. So when it bobs down, you can then pull that up. Just keep them there because we will need them again. And then we just pull this guy off. Hey, that's what she said. So as you can see here, this is the plunger, the push pin for the master cylinder, and we just pull that out like that. And we take this off. We're just going to compare that push pin to that push pin. Now, the one in the JB's Biker Bits is a little bit shorter than usual, and I guess we can maybe change that, the barrel length. With this guy here, we whack this onto here like so, and then pop it into its little grooves. And I'm just going to whack some grease. I've got some lithium grease here. I'm just going to whack that into the area that's going to sit in. Call me paranoid, but whatever. And then I'm going to add some to the barrel itself. Put that guy facing upwards, like that. You can always wipe up grease, you can't put too much grease on it. And I'm also going to put grease on the rubber, just to give it that little bit of protection, because again, why not? You may as well whilst you're here. We need to put this spring back in. It locates into a little recess here, and then we're going to push that in, and then align it with this. We're just going to add a bit of grease to this guy, and then we're just going to put that through there, and then push until that slides back in there like that. We can then go ahead and test fit, and it should just be plug and play because it is, like I said, a genuine Yamaha part. That's in, and then I'm just going to whack the pivot bolt back in. There we go. Right, so we're in. I'm just going to leave it fairly loose for now, just so I can, and I think that's actually going to work. And the quality of the levers feels really good actually. Right, so I'm just going to test the brake light works. Yep. Now we know this is the position that needs to be in. We can tighten the top of the Allen bolt up, and we can then fit to suit basically. If you see that there, it is a 2mm, and we're literally just gonna nip that up just the tiniest amount. Again, this is, you know, fairly self-explanatory and easy, simple thing to do, but you know, it's one of those where if you've never done it before, you might not know what you're doing. Again, on the back, you just want to hold this tight because once this is seated into position, it's fine. However, the lock nut underneath does need to be pinched up, and to me that does look miles better, to be honest with you. Now this lock nut just needs to be nipped up, it doesn't need to be too tight. If I remember rightly, somewhere in the recesses of my mind, it's like 9 Nm or 5 or 4, I can't remember, it's one of them. If you're that arse, you check your manual, right? Just until that lever starts to move, that's when I button it up. Hopefully this one will be a little bit better for me than the ASV one. Like I said, I'm not too impressed with that, but you can see how thin that is. That should give me just that bit more feel and feedback on the road, I'm hoping. Oh, my legs. I'll tell you what, I've not been on this thing in a while. It's the first time I've got my leg over since I've hurt myself, since I went to hospital. The longer the length, the more torque you're going to be able to produce. But if I'm only using 2 fingers, I'm not sure how much that's going to actually help me at all. So I'm just going to whack this back. But the brakes on these bikes have never been the best things on planet Earth, just because of the ABS systems and the braided hoses and stuff like that, and the calipers. But 19, 20, 21, 21, I think. So we're going to whack that in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, we're back to 11. That's midway. I mean, not only does it look nice, but functionally, hopefully it will help me a little bit more. And it does definitely feel a lot easier to get my fingers over the shoulder of them and get my fingers underneath and be able to pull. Whereas the other ones, you kind of feel like you have to bring the lever closer in so that you can get your finger over the lever itself. So hopefully that in itself means I can push the lever further out, meaning I've got technically more torque on the pivot there in order to actually get some more braking out of it. I'm not sure if it actually makes any difference to the braking itself. I don't think it does, but yeah, that's been it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very, very soon, I'm sure. Until the next time, so I'm out. Bye bye.